Who is here for the gospel reading today? Who can tell me the story and make it vivid? Any volunteers? All right, I'll tell the story. One split second too late, but thank you. So, Jesus and his disciples were walking down the road, and all of a sudden, they see a man born blind. So how do they know he's blind? What do you think? Maybe he opens his eyes and they're all white. Maybe, and some people say, he doesn't even have any eyes. Maybe somehow he was born without eyes. But somehow they take one look at him, and instead of, think about it, you look into someone's face and you see immediately they're looking back at you. His face is blank. There's nothing to see. And the disciples are horrified, so they're trying to explain it away. And they say, Lord, tell us, whose sin was it that this is a punishment for? Did this man sin himself, or was it his parents that sinned? They're trying to get an explanation. Does that make sense, Sophia? You'd want to know why, right? And what did the Lord say when they asked, who sinned? Who is being punished by not having eyes? What did the Lord say? Did you hear? No? Glory. Very good. It wasn't the man who sinned, and it wasn't his parents. So the Lord kind of tells us by extension, God doesn't make bad things happen to punish us. He said, but this was allowed to happen. The man was born without eyes for this moment, he's saying, because I'm going to heal him. So all of his life has been a preparation for the glory that he is about to receive, and that everyone else will understand through him. So think about that. The scene so far, the disciples are troubled, they're scared, they're disgusted. There's a man without eyes there in front of them. The Lord is calm, and the man is waiting. Because he's blind, not deaf. He hears them talking about him. And he's wondering, what's going to happen? And maybe first when they ask, who sinned, this man or his parents? Maybe he's angry, but he can't do anything because he can't see. And then when the Lord says neither one, then he's confused. This guy doesn't know me. How does he know? Maybe my parents did something terrible, he's thinking. But he waits. He doesn't say anything. And then he hears a sound of spitting. Is that usually a good thing? No. What do you think? What would you think if you were sitting there blind, you're hearing people have a conversation about you, they haven't even said hello, Vasily? What would you think if the next thing you hear is... You think he spit on you. But he doesn't feel any spittle. Think about it. Put yourself there. And he doesn't hear anything. Maybe the disciples grumble. What's the Lord doing? I don't know what's he doing. What do you think he's doing? It looks like he's making mud. Why is he making mud? Mud does not seem quite the appropriate thing to be doing today. He says that the glory of God, and then he's playing in the mud. We are so confused. Maybe that's what he hears. But he's blind. He can't see. He can only hear. And then he feels a gentle hand reach out and touch him. But it's wet, and it's warm. And he's rubbing, and he realizes he's putting mud on my eyes, and I don't have any eyes. Think about it. This is not a normal story. Every part of this is weird. And then the voice of the man who said the confusing thing about the glory of God says, go and wash. Go to the pool called Siloam and wash your eyes. and you will see. And then the person who's writing the gospel explains to us that in the Hebrew language, the word Siloam means apestalmenos. It means the one who was sent. Who was sent? Who in this story was sent? The blind man was sent to the pool. Who else was sent? Well, Jesus was sent. And the apostles are going to be sent. And John was sent out to proclaim the gospel. So everybody ultimately in the gospel stories is being sent somewhere, which is kind of important. We're doing what we're told. We're going where we are directed to go. We're being sent. So the man goes. He's got mud on his eyes. He's not really sure what's going on, but he knows more or less the way, so maybe he's got his stick in front of him and he's feeling his way. Have you ever known someone who's blind? Okay. Well, don't take offense at my imitating of it, but he's feeling his way. He finds his way to the pool. Maybe he asks for some help. Keep in mind, he hasn't even seen Jesus, because he can't see. He's only heard him. So he goes to the pool, and he washes off the mud. And what do you think he's thinking as he wipes away the last fragments of mud from his eyes? What's he thinking? What is he thinking? Close your eyes and think about it. He's never seen anything. And this man told him to go and wash the mud from his eyes. So he's bending over the pool. He's taking up the water, washing it into his eyes. And what do you see when your eyes are closed? Close your eyes. You see a little bit of light because your eyelids are a little bit transparent. So as he's washing the mud, he starts to see something. He's not sure, because sometimes the brain fires weird. But he's almost scared to open his eyes. Think about it. But he knows how. He's done this at least. And he opens his eyes. And there's the water of the pool. There are the flecks of the mud. There in the water is the sun shining down, which he's never seen in his life. How do you think he feels? My guess is he feels like he could fly to the moon. Wow. And then there's this whole controversy because, well, what day was it when the Lord did this? It was Saturday. It was the Sabbath day. It was the day of rest. And everyone's mad at Jesus because he keeps on making mud pies on Saturday. So they call the man and they say, "Who healed you?" And he says, "I don't know. I couldn't see him. Remember, I was blind. Now I can see." They say, yes, but who was it? What did he do? Did he do some kind of magic? He's like, "I don't know. I was blind. He put mud on my eyes and I washed and now I see." And they say, "Maybe you were never blind and this is just a trick." So they call in his parents and they say, "Is this your son? Is this your son who was born blind? Was he actually born blind? Are you sure?" And they say, and then they ask, "Who healed him?" And the parents, they don't want to get in trouble. And the parents are kind of not the heroes of this story, no offense to all the parents, because they kind of throw their son under the bus. They say, "We know that this is our son. We recognize him. Yeah, we can't say he's not our son. And we know he was born blind. I mean, we've asked for help for him before, so we can't exactly deny that. We have no idea how he got better, though. Ask him. He's of age. He's a man. Ask him. He'll tell you. It's not, don't blame him on us. He's 18. Talk to him." Any parents ever want to say that to your kids? Usually when they do something bad, right? But this is a good thing. So they call the man in again and they say, "Okay, so we know that you're the man and you were born blind. Who healed you? What happened? Tell us again." And he says, "I told you this already. Do you want to go follow the man who healed me so you can become his disciples?" And they get mad at him. Like, we don't want to be his disciples. You be his disciple. We're disciples of Moses. We know what Moses is talking about. This man, he might be a sinner. And then the blind man, who's never seen, but has heard a lot, and he's pretty smart, he says, okay, look here. I may not be educated, but God doesn't listen to sinful people, does he? If a sinner says, God, move the mountain, is God going to move the mountain? What do you think, Serafim? So, God doesn't do things for sinners, but I was born blind and now I see. And this man did it with mud. You try that. So here's the thing. If he were a sinner, he couldn't have healed my eyes. He healed my eyes, so he must be from God. This is pretty clear to me. Makes sense? Makes sense. And what do they say? They get a little bit cranky. A little bit. And they say, you were born in utter sin. You were born blind, you idiot. You don't know anything. You don't even read. And you're going to teach us what's going on? And then they said, there's the door. Use it. Get out. This is what his parents were afraid of. They threw him out of the synagogue just because he was healed. And that's when Jesus comes to him and says, do you believe in the Son of Man? Now, he's never seen Jesus, but he has good ears. So he knows the voice, and he says, tell me who he is so that I may believe in him. Because he knows this guy gave him new eyes. He's going to believe him. No problem. Not like those jokers who just kicked him out of the synagogue. This guy can do stuff. So he says, tell me who he is. And Jesus says, I who speak to you now, whose voice you hear, I am he. And he says, Lord, I believe. And he follows him. So, are you bored? Just a little bit. Did I tell the story too long? It's a long story. First he gets healed, and then he gets in trouble, and then he gets in trouble some more, and then his parents get in trouble, and then he really gets in trouble and gets kicked out of the church, and then Jesus comes and he follows Jesus for the rest of his life. Huh? Okay, that's both bored and interested. That's fair. So there's the point. It's a story, it's an important story, and it shows us that Christ, loves us, and it shows the power of the Lord. And it shows the love of the Lord. So don't forget it. It's a good story. And don't forget either that when you hear Jesus' voice, you know what he's done for you, right? On the cross, in Hades, at the resurrection, you know. So when you hear the Lord's voice, in whatever way, follow him. Do like the man who was born blind and say, tell me what to do, and I'll do it. Right? Okay. Thank you for being patient, bored and interested at the same time, and off you go to Sunday school. And this is the last Sunday school of the year. How about that?